global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Some hours ago, some politicians, top politicians in some part of the country, particularly Southeast, came together, analyzed the situation, went back to dates, went back to history of what transpired in 1966 and even beyond, and also looked at what transpired before the primaries of various parties that brought out their flag bearers. And this was their verdict. In fact, to a great extent, what one or two of them said aligns a lot. And we're going to look at it truly coming from history until now and what some set of regions we need to do if we are not looking at secession and agitation as an option. Well, before we go into the newspaper to find out what these guys said and what they particularly said about the standpoint of Tinubu as against generally the whole region, I would like you to subscribe to our channel. Click on the red subscribe button beside it. You see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Let's start with what happened in history, then what is happening right now. Well, the former chairman of PDP in Anambra State, that's Chief Dan Ulasi, had an interview where he called on Igbos to unite and develop their region before aiming for presidency. Chief Dan Ulasi noted that when the Igbos unite, it will become very easy for them to produce a president. He used the case of Tinubu as an example. He said Tinubu created a channel in the southwest which united the region and they were able to move to the federal level. He also said President Buhari did the same thing. Speaking further, Chief Dan revealed what Shehu-Shagari, the first democratically elected president of Nigeria, told him and Chuba Okadibo when they visited him in his village. Chief Dan said 3 months after Shehu-Shagari was removed from office through a coup, 2 of his children were involved in an accident and 1 of them died. So Chuba Okadibo asked him to accompany him to visit his former boss in Sokoto State. Chief Dan said they spent almost an hour and a half with Shehu-Shagari in his village. And when they were about to leave, Shehu-Shagari called them back and told them that he lost his presidency because of Igbos and no Igbo man can be president in this country if Igbos don't go back to put the former eastern region together and Delta. I pick that again. He said that no Igbo man can be president in this country if the Igbos don't go back to put the former eastern region together and Delta. Shagari said the Igbos should have a constituency that the rest of the country will take serious because the hatred on Igbos is too much and the Igbos have to look inwards. Chief Dan said that is why Ojukwu formed the Nigerian People's Movement, NPM. Alright. Now let's find out what they said about Tinubu that is bringing a lot of tension, really. And according to the former PDP chairman of Anambra State, which is Chief Dan Ulasi still, he said that the presidential candidate of APC, Bola Tinubu, is not interested in visiting Southeast. During his interview, the PDP chief then recalled what happened or what Tinubu's running mate Kashim Shettima said about Peter Obi and Igbo presidency. Addressing the topic, Ulasi said, Bola Tinubu did not visit Southeast before the primary election and after the primary election. He is not interested in doing so either. Instead, his running mate Kashim Shettima said that Peter Obi would be an Igbo president and not a Nigerian president. It shows you his inner thoughts against my people. He also continued to say, why must he say that Peter Obi would be an Igbo president? Why should he publicly make such statement? Shettima should tell us how Boko Haram started. Terrorism has now turned into business in this country. What will APC campaign have when the process kicks off? A lot of Nigerians also have reacted to this, quite a strong one. But before we look at the reactions of Nigerians, let's look at critically what Ulasi said about what Shagari told him in confidence in the past. Then from there we begin to drive it down to now. Now, if judging by, I was not there when Shehu Shagari told him what he told him, but he must have told him this in confidence. Him with a Chuba Okadibo. They must have heard this in confidence, and hence he decided to bring it open now. Why, I don't know. Because if you look at it critically, Peter Obi is gaining a lot of ground. So why should Olisa of all times decide to make this public now that Peter Obi is gaining a lot of attention? But let's look at it anyway. Now, he said something very unique. He said, except the old Eastern region unite. Now, if you look at the Southwest, if you look at the old Eastern region, just that I could still remember the likes of Wiki saying that he's from South and all that. He's not an old Eastern region. That Eastern region died in many years ago when South was better. Yes, he could be right. But until South begin to see South and Southeast as one, even though they are South and Southeast, like he rightly said, or like they rightly said, maybe they could just be working on divided lines. Even within the Southeast, you begin to see governors actually antagonizing their own brother, Peter Obi. They rather go on party lines than even thinking of the fact that anyone should even vote for Peter Obi. Not even on competence now. They're not even looking at it on competence level. They're just looking at it on party level. I am an APC member, I'm a PDP member, I must deliver my party. Not, oh, can my party or my party candidate, do they have the wherewithal or the capacity to change the narrative of the Southeast, the South, the Southwest, the North Central, in fact, the whole of Nigeria as a whole? They are not even looking at it. They're just looking at what it will benefit them as a party and as an individual and still be relevant in this corridor of power for them to continue. And that's why we're where we are today. Now, if you look at it critically, the Old Eastern region is one of the major regions that was divided, practically divided. Southwest still remains the same. All right, it was not divided. Okay, Lagos is still Lagos, or Oyo is still Oyo, Osun is still Osun. Yes, they might have broken them down into states, which other regions also enjoy to a great extent. Even though even South is were not even broken down. I think that the smallest state itself in the whole of the regions put together. I think they have just 5, while others have 6. The minimum is 6. Apart from Southeast, that is 5. But in as despite it all, they still divided Eastern region into Southeast and South. Southwest does not have Southwest and Southwest does not have Southwest and Southwest one. They had to break Southeast from old Eastern region, so that at the end of the day, Eastern region had very little power on their own. But if they merge, honestly, Shagari knew what he was saying. If going by what he's saying is true, if they can merge, imagine Southeast merging with South that was originally created from old Eastern region. Now that means the strongest point of Southeast or Old Eastern region will now become Rivers. Of which, for you to get a bulk vote from Southeast or Old Eastern region, you have to canvass with Rivers. But Rivers now is now standing on even stronger. South is even stronger as a constituency and as a region, and even the Southeast that was brought out from it, that was a mother of it. I'm just looking at it officially without even looking at whose else being God here. We're looking at it the way it is. So it probably may be a deliberate act, really, to weaken the strength of Southeast. After probably his pity for Chuba Okadibo and Olise said to open up. So look, until you guys unite, you cannot get anything. And honestly saying it true, but this one is beyond Southeast or South or Old Eastern region. It's a case of Nigerians seeing competence. If we can look at this race on the grounds of competence, forget where he's coming from. You say Nigerian, yes, we can actually salvage Nigeria. But if you want to go on regional lines, on ethnical lines, Nigeria will probably sink in just a matter of time. That's my personal opinion. You may differ. A lot of Nigerians are talking, but for want of time, let's meet in our conversation.